This is about to get real controversial with this one. I'm not necessarily gonna lie. If I had the ability to create an actual universe with actual stuff for me to use and for my own uses, with a world full of nothing but actual fictional women, oh, it would be a bit crazy. Now, if you know what Kakasu's story is and you pay attention to that, then you know exactly where we're about to go with this. But if you don't know, and you're just someone that maybe just clicked on the video just because, let's just say your ass got a power to basically be Isekai'd, to go to a reality where you can create it to be your own, and you know, you do whatever you want. How would you do things? What will be the rules of that world? How would you kind of do things and set it up? This is how I would set things up in this environment. If I had a world full of fictional characters, which are women, this is literally how the world would go. Rule 1. No guns, mechs, or cannons, but gun blades are perfectly fine. Because if you use a gun, use a bitch. I'm not necessarily gonna lie. Also, it's the most boring way to finish a fight ever. Like, have you seen it? It's boring as shit. I'd rather see someone get their ass beat constantly, or I would rather see someone use a blade and make it at least a little bit more interesting. Still, granted, it's gonna be crazy nonetheless, but I'd rather see something interesting that actually takes real skill than just shooting somebody. I'm about to be honest with you. Guns are boring, and I don't necessarily like them. Even though you're gonna need one because people are crazy, but still nonetheless, they are boring as shit. But in this world, in that reality, that's not an issue. The only guns I would think are acceptable, obviously, like I said, is gun blades, kind of like how Lightning has, or does Lightning have a gun blade? Or I might be getting that confused with Squall's blade. I think it's Squall's. Or like the Keyblade transformation with the shooting star Keyblade where Sora got the 2 arrow guns. That's perfectly fine. Anything else, not really messing with it. Also, mechs are freaking boring. Rule number 2, no other men will be in that world, honestly. Yes, as you can probably tell. Again, if you watch the Kakatsu story, you already know that's a rule when it comes down to things. However, I will make an exception for a 24-hour pass. If you have a visitor pass, I will give you 24 hours to be in that world. However, it's only going to be 24 hours, 1 day, for that entire year. Because you got me jacked up, you think you're going to be staying there for an entire freaking year or so long, you know? Any more than a day is way too much. Hell, more than an hour is too much. But I know you ain't going to be able to, you know, meet everybody as you want to. You know, you probably ain't going to necessarily... You probably have a character in mind that you probably want to see and talk to, and you probably ain't gonna necessarily have that much of a chance if you just talk to them for 1 hour. So that's why the 24-hour pass is a thing, you know? And it's only given to certain people, which is people that I know. So that's basically how that pass would go, you know? So it is what it is. Rule number 3, body inflation. Now, you might necessarily know what that is if you watch our video talking about, you know, the inflation kink that people like Jinvin has, and, you know, other Kakatsu users create when it comes to, you know, their characters and stuff. When it comes down to things, you might notice something about it too if you pay attention to the story. Like, wait a minute, Mukuro back in the day were busty and thick as hell. Why the hell is she so flat now in the current part of the story? That's easy, mainly because it's revolving around me, or the character, honestly, of me. When it comes down to things, if you revolve around Jay for a long period of time, your body will start changing into an inflated state, and he can just change it on a whim if he so chooses to, whether you like it or not, and that just kind of is what it is. However, if you stay away from him for a long period of time, like Mukuro did, you'll go back to your original state, especially if you're not necessarily romantically with this guy at all. So that's essentially how that would go. So the more you stay with him, the more your body will change. The less you stay with, you know, without him, basically, your body will go back to its regular shape, obviously. And the body will also change basically on how Jay desires that person to look like. That's essentially what would happen. Maybe one day he might change them to be smaller. One day he might change them to be bigger. You never know. Rule number 4, hetero jutsu. This might piss somebody off, honestly. But when it comes down to things, you think I'm gonna sit here in this world full of fine-ass fictional characters and I can't bag night every single one of them? You mean to tell me I'm not necessarily gonna sit here and then everybody getting their own relationships, their own type of thing, and I can't be a part of that? Oh, that's not how we're gonna do that. That won't not do. I'm not necessarily gonna lie. That's gonna have to get folded in a jiffy. 100%. This whole entire reality is built solely around for me The hell do I look like needing someone else to get in a relationship without me being there? You know? So that's some cap ass shit. Honestly, I'm not necessarily gonna lie. So that would automatically get erased unless it's something to do with me. It just wouldn't be the case. You know, like Ruby and Sapphire from Steven's universe. Yeah, that shit ain't happening. That whole thing, that's not happening anymore unless it's with me. Alright. The two chicks from Our House, their relationship, gone. The recent development of relationship with Blake and Yang, gone. You waited so many years for that just to be annihilated when it comes to it. Just for some random Black Fox dude to come through and just F both of them. That's literally how it would go. So yes, it's crazy. It might piss some people off, but that's literally the rule. Like, you didn't come here for each other, you came here for me. The hell? Also, when it comes down to things, there's just not a lot of fictional, like, characters that actually ruin relationships like that. The only one I can think of off the top of my head is the one from Parallel Paradise, where, like, the main character banged, like, this gay relationship, like, this gay lesbian couple, and then ruined their relationship, which was honestly hilarious as shit. Just because I never seen anybody do that before. Rule number 5, school festivals. Yes, anime cliche, I know, but we're gonna have some school festivals, obviously, because the main place that we probably gonna converse is gonna be at the school, honestly. Rule 6, no Issei, because obviously, we ain't got time for that. We don't got time for this F-boy over here. Absolutely not. You want Issei in somewhere? Go to your own reality. He is not allowed here. Anybody that supports Issei, or matter of fact, even go ahead and try to bring him to this reality, will be executed expeditiously. That is how I feel. So no Issei around here. But speaking of DXC, rule number 7, Konako Day. Obviously, we gotta have a Konako Day. There's no possible way we cannot have a Konako Day. You got me all kinds of jacked up. Basically, it's gonna be her birthday, but blown out of proportion, honestly. She gonna have a parade. She gonna have, like, everybody say some nice things to her. Like, she's gonna be basically treated like the queen she is, because that's my wife. You got a problem with that? F you. Rule number 8, can summon any characters to that safe haven. Basically, when it comes down to things, it's essentially like already something that's in place. But let's say another character is like designed here. Let's say, like, for instance, Sage came out and whatever, and then she obviously wasn't there in the beginning. So, like, I would have to just summon her from that reality to this one. So that would be kind of how it goes, honestly. There is also more in-depth rules with how that works and how Jay can summon characters to that world, but I'll say that for like a different video, because, you know, it actually does have a bit of rules in what he can and can't do, and who can actually summon and what, and who can't summon people. So there's rules within that too. But yeah, basically, let's just keep it at the basics. He can just summon anybody he wants. Rule number 9, the lollies must stay. Obviously. What you think this was? What you think this was, honestly? You think I ain't gonna score with some lollies in that reality? You got me all kinds of jacked up. In fact, it's gonna be a whole damn day of that shit. Why not? If I want some Klee ass, I'm going to go for it. If I want some Chi-Chi ass as well, I'm gonna go for it too. You think we're gonna just fold and not go for that? Absolutely not. It is what it is, honestly. So yes, obviously, without any doubts, the lollies must stay. Absolutely. No lollies in Night City, my ass. Rebecca there too, and she gonna get her ass pounded. Number 10, trap characters. Another rule that might make you mad. When it comes down to things, trap characters are only acceptable if they have a vagina. That is literally the only damn way. I will not have a dick in my mouth. You can have one. I'm not having that shit. No. I can't tell you when I first started making this series, honestly, when I think Astolfo himself on one account was like, oh, you should totally bang Astolfo. I will, but only the female version of him. Yeah, I know, whack as shit, but at the same time, what you thought this was, though? So yes, if you're gonna be a trap character, you're gonna have a vagina. That's gonna be how it is, at least in my reality, alright? That's just how it is. Rule 11, outfit day. It's basically what you think it is. One day in the entire year where everybody has to wear an outfit of my choosing. Whether it be a nurse's outfit, whether it be a police officer outfit, whether it be a naked apron, or just be naked in general. That's just gonna be how it is, and I get to see everything in every sort of way without any type of coverage. or maybe with some coverage, but with a special type of setting to it, you know? And also I'll be joining in as well. Why not? Mainly because it doesn't make any type of sense for everybody else to do it, and I don't necessarily do it. So, you know, though I can always choose to back out if I want to. So that's kind of how it is. And rule number 12, tournaments. Yes, there has to be tournaments, whether it's a fighting tournament, a fighting game tournament, whether it's a swimming tournament, whether it's a, you know, workout tournament, where doesn't matter. There has to be tournaments of some kind that goes on, or at least one day a year. That's literally how I feel, you know. Again, you gotta keep your ass in workout in perfect shape, or just get something going to keep everybody active together, you know. It wouldn't make sense to have a reality where, you know, things don't work together for their good, honestly. So yeah, everybody gotta be just together. Everybody gotta kind of just be, you know, treating everybody with at least a bit of respect, at least, you know. So that's kind of how that would be. And the final rule, which is rule number 13, organization 13, which is one rule that Jake absolutely cannot do, or at least would never want to do, because this will require him to remove any type of humanity he has. He can control the power of free will on everybody. He can. Even now in the current part of the story where he's at, he can control free will if he wanted to. He just chooses not to. Mainly because you have to be a heartless asshole to just do something like that, right? Of all the rules that I have, of all the rules that is capable of happening, of all the things that Jay can absolutely do, that is the one rule he does not ever want to do, or ever really want to pull, because it's just messed up. Like, beyond more messed up, you know? And hell, even with some of these rules, you can still break some of these rules and slightly, maybe sort of get away with it, honestly. Just a little bit, you know? And it'd be your choice. And I'd rather have people have a choice than just have no free will at all, you know? And I would say that's the difference between just any random guy coming through and having a universe like this to himself versus Jay having it. Because most likely, if they knew they control free will, they'll probably break down and easily start controlling everybody just to do what they want, and that's essentially how that will be. Jay, on the other hand, doesn't necessarily want to do that, and does not necessarily will, and even on the most dire circumstances, probably would not fold to do that, just because how would that make him any better than anybody else? If that was the case, then he shouldn't even be here in his own universe and having his own thing, much less being able to, you know, do whatever he does here, you know? So yes, he can control free will from anybody that he summons and anybody that's in that universe as a fictional character. But yeah, that's about it. Even like on a level of like VTubing on VTubers, that's somewhat of a level he can still cross to in a fictional sort of sense, because it is their character. However, the only type of people that he can't control or force these rules on is people that he know from that reality that he came from, basically. But anyway, that's basically, or at least for now, overpowered. But anyway, that's basically the rules of the safe haven, at least the ones I can think of off the top of my head. But when it comes down to things, what do you think of the rules? Does it piss you off on some of them? Do some of them don't make any kind of sense? Or them classic J-Senpai type of choices for rules? Let me know in the comments below, because I don't necessarily know what I'm thinking about when it comes to this. But anyway, hopefully you did enjoy. If you did, be sure to like, share, subscribe, hit the bell notification on your way out. Also follow me on the socials and like to donate to the channel. Patreon is available as well. And until then, it's your boy Jay, signing off. Have a blessed day.